So good evening, Carver. This is the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting on the evening of January 17th, 2024. And we are downstairs in meeting room number 4 at the Carver Town Hall. As always, our friends from Area 58 are here and recording. And if anybody who can't make it tonight would like to view the recording, it should be posted in the next day or two. And it's on YouTube. And any questions beyond that, you can call Area 58 directly. But we are being recorded this evening, and we're happy about that, actually. Now, the first order of business this evening is approval of meeting minutes from the date of December 13, 2023. That was our last meeting. As is my custom, I have reviewed these meeting minutes, have edited where necessary, and have distributed to each individual board member without comment before this evening. Now I ask if everybody has received their copy of these draft meeting minutes.
Yes.
Yes. And does anyone have any changes, amendments, or modifications that they would like to make?
No.
No.
Do I hear a motion then?
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
These meeting minutes then are accepted as written. Next, we have a public hearing on case number 125-19-2-R, the petitioner being Jeffrey Benoit, who is seeking a special permit pursuant to sections 2250, 5221, and 5300, and sections following of the Carver zoning bylaw, so as to reconstruct a single-family residence on a pre-existing non-conforming lot for property located at 48 Cranberry Road in Carver, Massachusetts, Assessors Map 125, Lot 19-R-0-R, in a residential agricultural district. Now, this matter has come before the board 2 previous times after it was filed, and on each occasion the petitioner requested a continuance. Yesterday, I received an email from the attorney for the petitioner, who has stayed in contact with the board. And again, for the record, I'm going to read this in, and it says, and this is from the attorney for the petitioner, I talked with Jeff Benoit about Wednesday hearing, and if possible, he would like to continue it to the May meeting date, which we don't have yet, but we'll discuss it. He told me that he still has physical issues which are hindering his travel. Please let me know if this is possible. Thank you. Also, by way of background, I have recused myself from this case, as I do have what I consider to be an appearance of conflict due to my professional contacts with Attorney Hale, who is the attorney for the petitioner. So I'm going to step down from the chair, turn this meeting over to the vice chair, to my left, Ms. Mello, and she's going to take us through the rest of the evening on this particular case number 125-19-2-R. Ms. Mello.
Yes.
It's all yours.
Well, as members of the board know, this case has been taking a long road with us. This is the 3rd request for continuance since I believe the case was
September.
reopened in September?
September. I was just looking ahead the meeting agenda, and it's September 6th was the first time that this was brought
Okay.
up.
So, how do you guys feel?
I don't have an opinion in the matter.
My thoughts are, how many more times is this going to occur? So I have concern. Although this time the postponement is for a number of months, I would be willing to go along with it with the stipulation that the May meeting is it. I would not vote for another continuance after that. So that gives them plenty of time to take care of whatever's going on. But that's how I feel on it.
Well, so just as long as we're throwing everything in there, I mean, it says something to do with physical issues. I mean, there's no guarantee that in May, he may still have physical issues. So I guess the question is, and this is where I'm not exactly 100% sure, what happens if we say there are no more continuances? Does that mean that they couldn't bring it up again, or they would have to go back to the drawing board in terms of filing and all that stuff?
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a financial cost to the?
Yes.
It is.
There is.
Right.
So what I was concerned about was the notification to abutters. And when did that notification occur? Because as you know, we opened the case in February or March, and then because of circumstances, allowed the withdrawal. So I went up, the abutters were notified when the case originally opened, and then they were notified again when the case was reopened, when he withdrew and then came back. So the abutters were notified in August, okay, for the second time. I'm of the opinion that, you know, obviously he's got something here going on. I'm okay with what you guys are saying. Grant him the continuance until May. But if this does not open up and we start taking testimony in May, then I would ask that it be withdrawn and the abutters be notified again because of the length of time.
Right. Because now, I mean, you're closing in on a year from when they
the
were
second.
first notified.
No,
You said-
second.
No, but you're saying the first time notified was in August.
I have a
That was the second.
question.
Well, that was the second?
That was the second.
Oh.
The first time was in probably January or February
Of last year.
of last year.
Okay.
So it was a year, and then August was the second time. Okay, go ahead.
I don't remember it being opened.
It has not been open.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. So the case has been filed, and we're ready to start taking testimony, but at this point, he's not ready.
Right. The first one was due to us not having enough members at the time. So in September, he withdrew without prejudice because we needed another member on the board.
He
He
actually
didn't want to
would,
go, he didn't want to go forward
Correct.
without a full board.
So
Yeah.
that they were here and ready that day. And so I almost feel like we need to work with them.
for how long?
I don't know.
Because this is our third meeting where we have been waiting to take his testimony, where we have gathered and we are ready.
Yeah.
And our circumstances lasted
One meeting.
one meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
And also reviewing this every time before this meeting comes up.
Right.
You gotta go
yeah.
and refresh yourself and look back at dates of
At
what
whatever's-
has happened.
yeah.
And it's,
Yep.
okay, how many times am I gonna revisit?
Right.
Okay, so we're looking, I mean, he's actually looking for essentially a 4-month continuance here. And once again, we'll be back in the same situation where we'll have to pull everything back up and make sure that we're ready to go
Right.
with the hopes that,
It will stop.
yeah.
Do I hear a motion? Do I hear a motion to allow the continuance to May with the understanding that we will begin to take testimony at our meeting in May? And at that point,
If he refiles, is there a time penalty on that as well? Like, will he have to wait, if in May we say no more,
yep,
how long until he can file again?
I'm not certain, I'd have to look into that, but I believe that we would allow him to withdraw without prejudice, and then he would be able to immediately refile.
Okay.
So there's no time
No
frame on
time
it.
penalty.
I believe if we refuse to continue the case with prejudice, he has to wait
Okay.
either a year or 2 years. Am I correct, Mr. Chair?
I guess so. I think you need to make it clear that this is going to be no further continuances.
Yeah.
Third bite of the apple, no further continuances. If it doesn't go forward, I guess you order withdrawal, you just consider withdrawal at that time.
So really, the motion is that we will continue to the May meeting, but this would be the last
final continuance.
No further continuance.
No
No
further
further
continuances.
Okay.
That would be my motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 You're doing so well.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Go on.
Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, could you come back up here? As I was looking down, I'm going to ask the board to reopen the vote on the meeting minutes because there's a date problem in here related.
Before we get into that, let me just
Okay,
settle.
sorry about that.
And I am going to ask, for the record, that the vice chair send an email to to our clerk in the planning department. And that email should say something like that this matter was heard on such and such a date. The board came to a vote and determined that the matter could be continued until the May meeting date, no further continuance.
I will do that.
And then ask her, please, to submit to council.
Okay, and should I copy the board or send it directly just to Joe?
No, you can copy all this.
Okay.
No secrets.
Okay,
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure.
All right, now you have spied a date issue. Is that true?
Yes. I'm sorry, and I don't know how we all missed this, but to grant the extension to the date of December 13th, 2024, it should be January 16th, 2024, right here,
Oh, I think so.
I mean, 17th.
17th, sorry. So I would ask that we reopen the vote and make that change.
Do I hear a motion to reopen the vote on the acceptance of the meeting minutes for meeting dated December 13, 2023?
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
Oh,
Second, sorry.
all in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. Now we're going to go back to the first page of those meeting minutes. Under paragraph B on the first page, that's 1, 2, 3 paragraphs in, there's an incorrect date referenced. And it should be January 17th, 2024, rather than the date that is typed on that first page. Does everybody agree to that?
No, I'm confused.
Well, wait a second, these are the meeting, yeah,
A year.
meeting minutes of the
Okay.
13th. So
Am I going
the
too fast for you?
extension
But the
here-
extension that we granted, and I'm trying to refresh my memory here now. I thought that was to, so that means that they have to be done by today?
Wait a
I'm
minute.
confused.
Wait a minute.
So that was the date of our meeting, the 13th.
The 13th.
No, I
So-
get that, but the extension date was to extend it till when, though? Till what?
Today,
It was, I thought it was a year from
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
the meeting.
it was a year.
2025 is what it should be then.
No. December 13,
December
2024. Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that's-
date that's on there is
Is
correct,
correct.
Madam
I'm
Vice Chair.
sorry. I thought this related to
No.
this case. Sorry, guys.
See, the power already has
Oh,
gone to
my
her head.
word.
You almost had me convinced.
Yeah.
I was trying to get there.
Sorry about
I
that.
was just trying to get there.
Thank you.
So, we're not going to change these meeting minutes. They will continue to be accepted based on what was written originally.
Oh, my
Everybody
Lord.
agreed?
Agreed.
Thank you.
Okay, now, let's go on to the next case. And that is public hearing on case number 75-31-A-R, the petitioner being James Harkins, requesting a special permit and/or dimensional variance pursuant to sections 2320, 2254, 2260, and sections following, as well as 5221 through 5223 of the Carver zoning bylaw for property located at 66 Holmes Street, which is in Carver and at Assessor's Map 75, Lot 31-AR, so as to construct a 29 by 27 square foot in-law addition in a residential agricultural district. A variance is being requested due to the need for front setback relief for approximately 20 feet, or of approximately 20 feet. 50 feet, as we all know up here, is required under the bylaw. Right, Ms. Dahl?
Yes.
So that's the case that now comes before us. Are you Mr. Harkins?
Yeah.
Good evening, nice to see you.
Good evening.
And with your acceptance, we will open the public meeting at this time.
Yes, I do accept.
Okay. And now, we'd like to hear from you as to what your intentions are. So, talk to us.
Well, it's an in-law addition. The economy is what it is, and we all know what it is. My mom retired, sold her house, and kind of up a creek, more or less. And on my property, it makes the most sense where it is. And reason being is the property's very, very old. The house was moved to the property in the 40s. But the house is very old, and where it was positioned in the property makes it difficult. And I do have a 2-car garage that's old, but the foundation isn't good enough for me to build up. And if I were to extend my garage in a sense that way, I would have to fill grade, and it would take away from my space that I use for my business, that I use, like that's on, like where my barn is right there, and it wouldn't work as well. And if it was built today, that house, I wouldn't be coming before you for this addition. It's kitty cornered in the property, as you can see on the plans. And secondly, the way the property line arches that corner encroaches really close, that 20 feet. That's where you get the 20 feet. The tangent line, the building commissioner had me put in, if it say were to be a right angle, you know, if it was a typical lot, we'd be just shy of that 50 feet.
Oh, that's the dashed extension you're talking about on the
Correct.
diagram?
That tangent, 90, well, rough.
I understand what you're
Yeah,
saying.
the rough
Yep.
point there in the corner would be close to 46 feet. And overall, it's over 50. The addition will still be 50 feet from the road at the end of the day. The way just the way the lot's positioned makes it very odd. And for future sale of the property, it makes the most sense to be where it is, to not separate and jump up the property. I also proposed knocking my addition, but with my house being so old, my garage is my storage. I don't have storage anywhere else in my house. So everything together, if I were to extend the garage, it would cost more money. And if it was built today, I also would not be here.
So you've made a lot of different points,
Yes,
and I'm going to sort of take you through this from a legal perspective,
correct.
and then these guys can take over and talk to you about the ins and outs of the project and get things clarified.
Gotcha.
Second page.
The total square footage of the proposed construction is 783 square feet.
Correct.
Is that correct? And for those of you on the board, 800 square feet, anything up to 800 square feet is allowed by right under section 2260 and sections following. So we need not be concerned about the size of the proposed construction based on his testimony here this evening. It appears, Mr. Harkins, that the only relief you're going to need is dimensional relief, and that's the front setback relief that you were just talking about. Is that true?
So, as you can see, it's, because the property line arches, it makes it front, but it's technically, I'm going closer to the side property line, if you look at it, because my property is on Home Street, and the Meadow Street is technically where I'm extending my house towards. But because of the odd arch of that property line on the corner, makes it frontage.
This is problematic because when you filed your application, you talked about, I believe, needing front setback relief.
Well,
Is that true or false? Am I got that right?
It's true, it is true. And
All right, so we can't, I mean, it becomes an issue of public notice and legal requirement
Well,
if you're going to change.
I'm not changing.
Okay,
It's-
so is this front setback relief you're looking for or side setback relief?
If you can see on the plans,
I can see it, you've got to choose. Because you filed for front setback relief.
I guess from what I've been told, yes, yes. I
Because
believe
isn't
front.
side setback relief 30 feet?
30.
30.
And this is, and the front is 50. So the dimension, the rules with regard to the dimensions change. So
Correct. It's
the
the way-
relief that you're going to need depends upon whether you're talking side or front, Mr. Harkins. Okay?
Correct.
You put down in your filings, you're looking for front setback relief, and specifically 20 feet. That's the variance that you're looking for, it's 20 feet, based upon your own filings and what you
Correct.
signed. So, do you want to continue to argue with me about that, or do you want
No.
to change it?
No, I don't, would not like
Okay.
to argue the matter.
All right, is everybody okay with continuing with the front setback relief approach here, Mr. Poirier? Mr.
Well,
Barrington?
I guess my question is that all he needs is front setback relief, or does he also need?
It depends on how you interpret.
That's
That's
because of
why
the
I
arc
left it
of the,
under one,
right.
because it's towards the front, there's the closest point on that arch that hits is towards the front, and that's why it's front.
Okay.
And technically, if you look at the layout, my frontage, I'm not pushing closer to my frontage technically, but because of the arch of the property line, it does encroach closer. So I am not extending my house closer towards homes, but because the way radius is the corner.
Okay. I think we all understood that at the beginning,
There we go.
but we have to write a decision in the end that will be compliant with state law, as well as local law, but most especially state law. And we've got to get this right based upon your own request for whatever it is that you come before us looking for. And you're pretty clear that you're looking for front setback relief. So we will continue to proceed on that basis, at least for now.
I have a question.
Yes.
I understand the frontage here based upon the layout of the current structure. Looking at this angle and where he's going to end up, would he also need side relief?
Well, this is what he just finished saying, and if he's going to look for side relief, I don't think that we can give it to him tonight. He didn't ask for side relief.
But does he need it? That's, that's the question.
That was my question too.
If we give him the frontage, if we agree that, that makes sense, and he walks away, he might end up coming back, unless the building inspector says that's good enough.
So this has all been through with the building inspector.
Okay,
Tell us about that.
I went back and forth with them after after I got, when I didn't get approved. I went back and forth with them more than once. Technically, I went to originally try this addition last winter, but my mom was at that time working at Signature Healthcare Hospital when it had a fire, blah, 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 out of work, and now here we are again, going for it. So that's why we're back at it, and it's been more than once. I asked him too, that was my confusion as well.
Yeah.
But this is where we ended with that there.
The building commissioner, in a letter dated November 14th to you,
Yes.
and for the board's edification, says as follows: your building permit application for the proposed in-law addition at 66 Holmes Street has been denied for the following reason. The proposed front building setback does not comply with a minimum distance 50 feet as regulated in the Carver zoning bylaws dimensional requirements, section 2320.
Correct.
So, I mean, as Mr. Harkins suggests, this is a matter that's been reviewed, and it was determined by the building commissioner that the relief necessary was front relief. Now, we can write a decision, should we choose to grant the relief, stating something along the lines of the configuration of the property is such that there should be no confusion about what's being granted here, and that it was determination of the board, based upon the filings, that the front setback relief was what was required.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm
so
comfortable with
we put a
that.
little caveat in the decision.
Yep.
But I don't want to hold Mr. Harkins up.
I agree.
I think he's been very forthcoming. He's tried to do his homework. And so when you started talking about the side, I'm like,
I was just trying to, because I knew the question would come, because it's obvious, you know what I mean?
Yep.
That's, I was just trying to just bring up the cards, more or less. I wasn't trying to change.
all right, so, go ahead.
So, I have a question on the diagram here.
Yes.
You see the arc, and then further down in the corner, you see this post and rail fence. Is that your fence?
No, if you look in the corner of Holmes and Meadow, it's the telephone pole guardrails that they put up around town on some of the corners, the main intersection corners, that's what that is there.
So is there land outside of this arc here out to, is this the road here?
Yeah, so if you flip back, just so you have, that's why I zoomed in, because I couldn't get access to a bigger printer.
Sure.
So if that is the road, correct. That farther the dark arch line is the property, the lighter arch line would be the road farther
Okay.
out. So
Yep.
from that arch line, I mean, there's 35, 40 feet until you hit the road.
So who owns that land between the arc of your property line and the
I like to
street?
call it mine. It's technically not.
That's just so strange, though, that it's not you. I guess
I mean,
that's what.
there's giant burning bushes there, so they're pretty easy privacy for me.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, no, that's,
All right. That's fine.
yeah, that's the odd bit about it, is how much I technically maintain. That's technically not mine. You know, that's what I brought up, the odd line.
Okay.
Because not every corner lot arches like that. And when you look, it's quite a bit when you see it.
Thank you for pointing that out, because I like
important.
the
sure.
fact that there's space between
Yeah.
Yep.
the corner of the house and the roadway,
that dead
Right,
the
and
actual
I
roadway.
tried writing that in my notes to you guys as well. It's not gonna encroach in any view. If anything, next time you're on the corner of Holmes and Meadow, I probably should cut those burning bushes, because if anything goes around the way, but the house will not encroach in any sort of view either.
And that's an invasive species.
Oh, they are now.
They are now.
They are
Yes, they
now.
are.
They can be as invasive for privacy as they want.
Yeah.
Okay, now going on with what I was saying, I know it's sometimes awkward to ask someone about a lady's age, but how old is your mother?
That's a good question. She's 69.
Okay,
Past
enough.
retirement age, technically. But,
The reason, there's a purpose behind that question. For accessory apartments, which is a request for an accessory apartment with a dimensional variance, you have to be at least 55
okay.
to do this, or handicapped. Now, she may not be handicapped, she's retired, but she's older than the threshold age, so that's
She
good.
thanks me every time I forget her age.
Don't forget her birthday, though.
I know, it's in the phone.
And this accessory is going to be attached to your primary residence, correct? Okay. Less than 800 square feet,
No connecting doors.
And,
but connected to your house.
Yeah, no, I'm just being sarcastic.
yep,
Why,
You don't have any intention to move from your residence anytime soon, do you?
I can't afford to. No, I don't. I mean, I run my business out of there, and I grew up just over the border in Kingston. I like the area, so.
And she's going to be the only one in there, right?
I mean, yeah,
Okay.
can't speak of her personal life, but yeah. Yes, it is planned for her to be the only one.
Where's she going to park her car? On the street or off street?
Oh, it'll be off-street, and I have plenty of space in the driveway, and I got a little gravel spot in the front of the house too.
Now, understand that if we grant you the variance to this accessory apartment, it's good for 3 years, not the variance, but the accessory apartment piece.
Okay.
At the end of the 3 years, you're required to come in and, or she's required to come in and by affidavit state that, you know, she's still in there and she's using it as her primary residence. Just a technicality, and the nice folks down in the planning department can help you with that.
Okay.
That's not specific to you, that's just part of the bylaw in town, because sometimes people get into these accessories, older people, they die, or they have to go into nursing home or assisted living, and then you've got an accessory apartment that could theoretically be rented out, which
Right.
the town frowns on. So we want to make sure that it's used for the purpose of the bylaw.
Gotcha.
Okay. So it would appear that all we're talking about at this point is a dimensional variance. He needs 20 feet on the frontage, with the understanding that we will put a caveat in the decision that we make about how the property is curved, that boundary line is curved or arced, as you say. Does anyone have any other questions or
Yeah,
comments?
Jim's got,
Why didn't you move it back further from the location?
Windows, to be honest. If I start bumping it back, the L shape of the house, that's my master bedroom. And,
Okay, so, okay.
and yeah, there's just more windows wise, and I felt it would look better on the house because it's a 1.5 story cape right there style. And I
Okay.
just figured it would look better to kind of just continue that on versus staggering it, I thought. Yeah, I just liked it that way. There was no, other than, there was the windows was part of it, and I thought it would look better just extending the house.
Mr. Barrington raises an excellent question. Since we're talking about variances, that puts us into a state law situation. And so, this is Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 40A. In order for us to grant a variance, and we are constrained by state law, you have to be able to convince us that one or more of the following things exists with regard to your property. That because of soil conditions, this is the only place you can put it. Because of the shape of the lot, this is the only place you can put it. Or because of the topography of the lot, this is the only place you can put it. So you have to be able to demonstrate one or more of those three hardships in order for us to get to yes for you. Now, I observe on the plan that on the side, you've got a well. On one side, you got a well, the other side a septic, is that right?
Correct.
And then on the back, which is where you're going to be putting this thing, right?
No, over
Oh,
here.
it's going to be over here, that's right. So the question that that Mr. Barrington just posed is a good one, which is, if you move everything back, then you probably wouldn't need a variance, because you've got plenty of land in the back there.
No, he's talking about moving this.
that's what he was
back.
asking. Yeah.
So this is the front of the house, and Jim was
Okay,
talking
I'm
about.
looking at it from the
Yeah,
wrong side. This is the front.
Yep,
Can't do it here because of the well.
Yep.
Can't do it there because of the
Septic.
septic. And
there's windows in this L here, so this is the bedroom.
The sun comes up on that side of the house, and that's where it's just a 1.5 story cape, and the way the design I did for the.
I don't know how to write this. Because you're trying to place it in a location that is most aesthetically pleasing.
Well, okay, if we.
That's not part of the law. It's got to be one or more of those three things I just mentioned: topography, soil,
Correct.
or shape.
So if we were to go to the side, then we'd be coming back to a meeting for side frontage. Tomato, tomato.
And you'd have to change your plan, obviously.
Correct.
I don't know,
shape.
folks.
What about shape?
What about it?
We're under
Because
shape- we're
it's
under shape.
the radius,
Shape and topography, because
Hits
where
it.
where the house is
So
located
even-
is topography.
But hold on
Wait a
just a
second.
second.
Sorry.
even if he, because of the shape here, so if it was a squared off lot, he wouldn't need the frontage. If he moves it back, he's still gonna need a side variance, because he's not gonna have the 30 feet.
So the argument would be based on shape.
Shape.
Mr. Barrington, does that answer your question?
Yes.
Mr. Poirier, who wanted to say something and I
No,
interrupted
no,
you, I'm
no,
sorry.
no. But that's
So
fine.
it's the arch shape of the lot.
It gives him the hardship,
Yes.
because otherwise, even if he moved it, he'd need a dimension in another location.
Yep,
You'd need a side variance. Yes?
yes.
Ms. Cullum?
I don't have any questions.
Ms. Dahl?
No questions.
Let me just make a note here.
And with some fine wording, technically it hits topography too, but
How does it hit topography?
in the topography and the layout of the lot, it wouldn't be put in the location on the lot today. If that was a new lot, buildable lot, that's not what the house would have been built.
Because,
It's frontage. We technically, right now, my frontage of my house doesn't even fit.
what's on the other, where it says, something pavers there?
Oh, it's just my front walkway, I believe, and when it says.
And what's
front
on,
pavers.
what's on the other, so what's the, like on that side of the house?
There's that right in there's the dining room kitchen, and then
No, I'm talking about the land outside. What does it look
it
like?
starts sloping a bit
That's,
down.
because I thought you had said something
Correct.
about an area where, and as you're facing the front of the house, is your garage is on the left-hand side there?
Garage
Correct.
is over
So to the
here.
left of the garage is where the land starts to
Correct.
Slope down.
drop off. So it sounds like he's got a topography issue as well on that side of the house.
Yeah, it
Oh,
would,
yeah.
and then that
So-
falls in, I think there was another question on there that said something about money as well, as part of the reason why I was coming forth. And then
Financial
if I were to
hardship.
also put it over there, the topography, because of the topography, I would have to add more fill or
To
structural.
bring it,
Correct,
yeah.
and with.
I think your best argument is the shape, Mr. Hart,
Yeah, that's what I was just saying, I mean, if you wanna check a couple boxes, technically,
in my opinion.
Yeah, yep.
but I agree, I believe that was my primary reason I put under there as well.
Okay. What other questions or comments does anybody have? Where's your mother living now?
Pembroke Woods Apartments, and she's just bleeding her dry.
And when do you intend to start construction?
When I have a piece of paper in my hand. Pretty quick, yeah, I mean,
I mean, this is a small
yeah.
apartment, so it
Correct.
shouldn't take too long to get up.
I mean, technically, lease it up in June, so I still have a good amount of time. I guess I own a construction company as well.
Very good, so you can do some of the work
Good.
yourself.
I have a little dingo that'll help me out digging the holes. So,
Good.
yes, yeah, that's the plan, as soon as possible, really. And kind of before my spring kicks off, because I own a fence company as well, so trying to squeeze it in.
Okay. So I think the first thing that we need to be doing is to vote on certain findings, the first of which I suggest be this one. That we find that we have jurisdiction to hear this case, as the building commissioner denied the requested building permit on November 14, 2023, as indicated in your packets, and an appeal of this decision was sought by the petitioner on November 26, 2023, within the 30-day appeal period established by Chapter 48, Section 8 and 15. So this is an appeal from the denial of the building commissioner. That gives him 30 days to file. So I suggest that we vote on the fact that we do have jurisdiction to hear this case based upon the dates that I just provided.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Who seconded?
Jim?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So then we go on to, I suggest, make the following finding. That the board finds that owing to circumstances relating to soil, shape, and/or topography of the structures or lot, but not affecting the district generally, a literal enforcement of the provisions of the bylaw would involve substantial hardship to the petitioner, and that relief may be granted without substantial detriment to the public good and without nullifying or substantially derogating from intent or purpose of the bylaw. We're all familiar with this language by now, right? This is the variance language. This is what I would suggest that we vote on now, that we make that finding.
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And I think we should also, and I may have gotten ahead of myself just a little bit here, I think we should also make a finding that the proposed structure, in terms of its size and purpose, satisfies the requirements under bylaw 2260 for accessory apartments. It has to do with, not greater than 800 square feet, and it has to do with older than 55.
Yep.
So can we make that finding as well? Yes?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that's 3 findings, all unanimous. Just make a note of that. I next suggest that we vote on the following motion. A motion made by one of you, to be duly seconded by one of you, to approve the request for frontage relief and to grant a variance for 20
20.
feet, right? For 20 feet.
20 feet.
20 feet. That we are approving the request for dimensional relief, that's front setback, of 20 feet, because he only has 30. Anybody want to alter that motion or discuss it before we go to vote on it? We're
Where we
granting,
getting the 30 from?
we're
I
granting
can't
a
read
variance.
that.
I'm having a hard time as well.
You don't see the 30?
Well, I can't see what that
Well, it
number is.
depends.
That's 30, looks like 30.
That one says 30, I think it says 37.
I
It does.
believe in that folder you might have a.
A bigger?
You got a bigger one there?
I think I submitted one big
Yeah,
one.
we have a bigger one over here. Ms. Cullum, who's always prepared, has brought it. And
Oh,
it's
No,
37.8.
I still.
37.8.
So if that's 37, he doesn't need 20.
No, he needs about 13.
It does say approximately on the document, so that's why we all said
Well,
20.
we have to be as careful with this as possible, because we don't want to give you too little and then you're stuck again.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the board's pleasure here?
15 feet, which gives him a little more than the 13 that he needs.
Well, are we
No?
sure that's 37? I just,
Show the
Yeah.
one that you just showed me.
Pass it down.
37.8.
37.8. What if we went 16?
16.
16.
I
Okay.
agree. Okay.
Yep, 16's fine.
And then could we put in a condition that the front of the
Yeah, we'll do the conditions
addition
in a
does
minute.
not come in front of the existing
Right,
building?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that in a
Okay,
minute.
Yep.
okay.
Yep.
Yep,
All right,
16.
so let me rephrase the motion that we are prepared to grant under Massachusetts General Law 40A, Section 10, a dimensional variance of 16 feet from the Carver zoning bylaw, Section 2320, the front yard setback.
I'll make that motion, 16 feet.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Now we go on to conditions. And one of the conditions we almost always say is subject to the plans of record. Now, these are the plans of record here, so this is what you're going to have to go with. You can't bring a new plan into the building commissioner and have him endorse that. That's been tried before. After a case has come before us and we've granted specific relief, then somebody decides to change their mind, Mr. Harkins, and they present him with a new plan and he says, can't do that. So this freezes your project.
Only question is that just freezes the plot plan, correct? My floor plan itself could change.
You mean the inside?
Of course.
Yes.
Right, okay.
The footprint.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
Gotcha, just wanted to,
Yeah, freezes the footprint and the overall size.
gotcha.
Yep.
All right, now somebody else wanted to do another condition. I think that was Ms. Mello.
Yeah, just that the proposed addition does not lie in front of the existing house. No part of the proposed addition should be further or in front of should lie in front of the existing house.
Yeah, you said it.
Does that make sense?
You said it best the first time around.
Okay, thank you.
That the proposed construction not be sited in front of the principal residence.
Right.
Is that what you want to say?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Oh, she's so good, I could have switched chairs with her.
Don't give me meeting minutes.
Anybody could have made that mistake.
Even the great ones make a mistake, Fran. Just remember that.
What do you say to that, Ms. Cullum
Sounds good.
and Ms. Dahl?
I agree.
They're quiet, but these two, they've got minds like steel traps.
Thinkers.
Any other conditions?
How tall is the addition going to be?
Imagining existing.
Not higher than the highest point of the existing roof?
Are you saying no higher?
Not higher than the high point of the existing roof?
That was the plan too, yeah. Keep it pretty similar, yeah.
Okay. So you want to add that in there too?
I think so.
Because you don't want a roof on the principal residence like this, and then the addition top is up here.
Yeah, I thought about it for headroom and it was gonna be nice for function, but it would look way too weird.
Yeah, it does.
The wall
And
height.
she's not that tall anyway,
The
is
ridge
she?
height I'm gonna keep, the wall height might change. That could be able to,
Yep.
We're talking about the height of the roof here.
correct, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That'll be, the ridge height will be the same.
Okay, we'll put that in. What else?
I do not have any to add.
Okay. Ms. Dahl is writing furiously. You have anything further you'd like to add, Ms. Dahl?
I do not.
What about you, Mr. Barrington and Mr. Poirier?
I'm satisfied.
And Ms. Mello, who is always good with this stuff. Do you have
I am.
anything?
I am fine.
So I'm going to repeat these three conditions. First one is that the proposed construction will be subject to the plans of record. That's number one. Number two, that the addition not be placed in front of the principal residence on any of its corners. And third, the height of the roof of the proposed construction shall not be higher than the high point of the principal residence. Everybody got those? Everybody, does that incorporate everybody's collective thinking here?
Yes.
Do I hear a motion?
So moved?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
You have your variance. Good luck.
Wait a minute. Somebody's got to give the speech.
That's Ms. Miller.
Oh, man.
Oh, yes.
Her favorite part.
That's Ms. Mello.
Okay, here we go. She promised she'd write this up for me.
I know. We'll help you if you forget it.
Okay.
Oh, this one yours?
The decision will be
On
written
the table.
within, probably by the end of the week.
What is
Is
today?
that correct?
Today's Wednesday?
Today's Wednesday?
Yeah.
And submitted to the permitting department no later than Monday?
Yes.
Okay. At that point, there is a 20-day appeal period. You probably won't hear from the permitting department, but after 20 days from Monday, go down there. If there is no appeal, you will be able to take the decision, go to the district court in Plymouth and file.
The Registry of Deeds.
The Registry of Deeds.
Different
and
building.
File the decision with them. And then, once you file it, bring that paperwork back here to Town Hall, and you'll get your building permit.
Okay, awesome. Question, can I get my butters list and get a non-contest signed from all of them?
No.
Okay,
The way
The
this has to be
appeal
done is the way
period.
she just described.
okay, I understand, that's fine. We're at the bus stop every day and they're all like, good luck with the addition. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone cares.
Yeah, no, it's a legal
I understand,
process.
that's fine. Okay.
How did I
And
do?
for the record, again, tonight, there have been no comments from the public, either in favor of or opposed to this project. So, are we done with this case?
I think we are. Congratulations.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Appreciate it.
Good luck to your mother as well.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll need it.
Be good to your mother.
Yeah,
You'll be
it's
fine.
very nice of
She'll
you
be
to
appreciated.
do
She's
this
a
for your mom.
pediatric nurse. I have 2 kids 15 months apart, so,
Wow,
good.
Irish twins.
yeah. Pretty close. Pretty close, yeah. It'll be good, yeah, it'll be good, because everything's so expensive. She was-
Oh, yeah,
Unless she moves somewhere, she's not getting anything.
congratulations.
Thank you, appreciate it, guys. Is that it for you guys tonight?
That's
That's
it,
it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
till
You're done.
May.
You can stay if you want. I mean, we like you. and-
I mean, my entire house, are you talking about your house being sick? My whole house is sick right now, and my oldest daughter's 3.5, so. Yeah.
And it just goes back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah.
That's always a good time.
I got the sniffles for a week, and I've been clear for it for a while, and then everybody fell like dominoes over the last couple of days. I was supposed to enjoy the snow yesterday, but I didn't get that.
Okay.
At least you had a good relaxed day instead.
Yeah, well, I had gymnastics with the little ones on Thursday, which was
3,
interesting.
wow.
Yeah,
Our first activity.
Good.
cute.
So we have
Enjoy.
one other matter to
Very cute.
discuss this evening,
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
and it's going to be a very brief discussion. There was a crossed-out section on the agenda with regard to an alleged open meeting law violation due to the fact that the agenda was alleged to have been defective in that it was not specific as to when it was actually presented by the planning department for purposes of publication, as I understand it. And after consulting with town council, it was determined by the person who complained of this alleged violation with regard to the agenda and how it was posted, and the fact that it referenced when the agenda was submitted as opposed to when it was actually filed. That person who complained has withdrawn his open meeting law complaint. So there was nothing for us to vote on there. And I will say also that the Attorney General has already ruled on this issue and has found in favor of the Board of Select Persons in town. They received a similar open meeting law complaint, and I believe the Planning Board may have as well. This was a complaint that was made against 3 or 4 boards in town. It was all the same thing. The Attorney General got the Select Board's complaint first to respond to and decided that there was no violation here. It was just, something that the Attorney General did not feel was a violation of the open meeting law. So we have nothing to respond to here. We've been doing everything just fine, and we're going to continue to do everything just fine and comply with our requirements under the open meeting law. So having said all that, does anybody else have anything they would like to say this evening before we adjourn?
I do not.
Nope.
Okay. We need to talk about a May date, don't we?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Do we have any other cases?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other cases in the queue right now. Ms. Dahl, do you know if we have anything else?
I do not. I'm not aware of any.
Ms. Cullum?
Not that I know of.
And I can't think of any either.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean,
What if something comes
Yeah.
up? We do what we always do. They contact me, I contact you, we negotiate a date.
So you're suggesting that for now, all we do is schedule a May meeting?
Yeah, I'm not going to schedule a meeting if we don't have
No,
any
no, no, I
cases.
agree. Yeah.
So let's talk about a May date, and I see, I observe Ms. Mello clicking away here on her phone. She's trying to get to her calendar,
I have so much stuff on here. Where's my
and I would
calendar?
suggest, look at this, she's got a zillion things. I would suggest an early May date,
May 1st.
or May
Is a
8th.
Wednesday.
May 8th.
May 8th is second week.
May 1st or May 8th, both Wednesdays, correct?
Yep.
All right, so those, I think, are good working dates.
I cannot do the 1st.
All right, so I guess that leaves us the 8th. Good for you, Mr. Barrington?
Very good for me.
I might say as well, you're looking very handsome this evening. Mr. Poirier, who's wearing a hat, the very chic, but he doesn't have any hair. That's
Oh,
what he wears.
all right, I suppose the 8th will do.
Okay, and Ms. Dahl, who I know is very busy, still working full-time and excellent at what she does, is May 8th okay?
It is.
And Ms. Cullum, likewise?
Yes.
Okay, so May 8th will be this board's next meeting, and we will take up the Benoit
Will you be
case.
back from Florida by then?
That's case 125-19-2-R. That's the one that we continued earlier this evening, and said that there would be no further continuances of that case beyond the May 8th date. Now, if anybody has an issue with the May 8th date, please let me know. There's a lot of time between now and the beginning of May, and things happen on people's schedules, I understand. But this is why we have the crack alternate that we have serving with us now. That's Ms. Dahl, who's raised her eyebrows like, who's a crack alternate? That would be you, dear. So, May 8th will be our next date, and we'll obviously notify folks in town if we need to meet before then. So, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
No, Mr. Poirier is always ready to close a meeting. I want to get out of here. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Good evening, Carver.